The Opus 1, which is it's the first piece which is published, was written in 1897. Already, I was that time already student in the Royal Academy of Music in Budapest.
It was performed in 1897, but was composed
And
before.
composed also. Yeah,
Well,
maybe I began it, no. I began it in 1896, and it was finished. It was finished 5 days before the first performance.
Oh, the old Dohnányi technique.
Yeah,
even then.
I did that very often.
Very often.
Yes.
It was a piano quintet?
That's a piano quintet which Brahms has sing.
Which Brahms?
Brahms has sing.
Well, here we get to some things which I'm sure are going to be of tremendous interest.
And heard, too. That was
so because, of course, it heard.
Heard, yes.
Yeah,
Brahms.
heard too. My composition teacher, Hans Köstler, was a friend of Brahms and visited Brahms every year in Ischl, where Brahms used to spend his summer. And he just mentioned my quintet and wrote to me that I should send a score with the parts to Ischl, which I did. And afterwards I heard that it was performed there in Ischl in the apartment of Brahms by Arthur Nikisch, a very famous conductor, and, which is perhaps just for Americans very interesting, by the Kneisel Quartet.
Oh, yes.
From Boston.
Did you ever hear of Brahms' comments?
And so then, of course, what happened is that Brahms arranged that this was then publicly performed in Vienna, and the same year in November, and which took occasion with me, of course, and then I met Brahms several times. I was twice in his apartment, and he was, after the concert, in a company of few musicians, also Steinbach from Mainz, who was by chance there. And so I have very nice remembrances.
Well, if I may just interject here, Brahms, as you yourself had told me, generally said unpleasant things to people and never anything pleasant. But I understand that he said about this quintet, not to you.
No, he didn't say any unpleasant things to me, but neither pleasant.
But I understand. I understand that he said about this quintet that he himself couldn't have written it better.
That I heard from somebody else.
Well, there it is.
I can't control it.
You can't control it, and you wouldn't say it. I know, but this has been heard. Yes.
But there's some amusing little anecdotes about how unpleasant Brahms could be, aren't there?
Yeah, oh yes, it could be, and especially, you know, it was very interesting when I was there with him, and he just said it's very lucky that I'm studying in Budapest because there's nobody in Vienna. And now he began to, and all the music began with Bruckner and Hans Richter and all the musicians in Vienna. He didn't see very nice things about it. Well, then he asked me what I now think about a symphony. Then he said, of course, in minor. I said, no, it's by chance in major. And that was, in fact, my first symphony, but which is not published, and I don't call it at all the first, because the first is, in fact, my which I call first, is my second one in D minor. This is in minor, really. And which was performed now in Minneapolis, I call my second. In fact, it is the third, if I count this one.
Yes.
Which won, the first one won a prize in a competition. But I didn't intend to publish. No. And all the famous artists who played in Vienna, they generally came down to give a recital in Poland too. So I heard in my childhood Rubinstein play, Bülow with his orchestra, D'Albert and many others, Joachim and Sarasate, Wilhelmi, and singers like Rosa Papier and Alice Barbie, etc., etc.
Didn't you at one time when you were a young man attend a concert at which Franz Liszt was present?
Yeah, that was a concert in which I heard Anton Rubinstein. Yeah, not to confuse.
Yes.
Yeah, Anton Rubinstein. In that concert was Liszt, just as listener there.
He was an elderly man then, was he?
Oh, of course, that man, because I was at Lord in 1884, and 2 years before he died in 1986. And I saw him. He was partly standing, and the whole audience could see him very well. That's all.
Still a man of tremendous stature, wasn't he?
That picture is still very, 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 very live in my recollection.